Joining us now is the founder of TutorBright, the leading supplemental education service in Canada and Australia. Sunny Verma, welcome to What She Said.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Now, in the past 8 years, you have really grown this service. So give us an idea of how large you are and where you provide it.
Yeah, absolutely. We really started off as a I would say a one-man show, and now we're across all of Canada, moving across Australia, and we do some work in the U.S. as well, and have several thousands of tutors and tutor mentors who work with us, and we deal with tens of thousands of students.
You were voted best by City Parent Magazine.
Yeah.
So what do you think sets you apart from other tutoring services?
Mm-hmm. That's a really interesting question because there's a lot of great tutoring services that are out there, but I think what really, really makes us special is that we focus on mentorship. And what I mean by mentorship is that our objective is to make learning fun. And the way we do it is making it very individual, making it very relative, and I think most importantly, looking at the student as a whole. So what really makes them tick, so we can really get through some of those really difficult concepts or some things that they may not be interested in and really allow them to really enjoy the subject that we're essentially teaching them.
And one of those subjects you like to teach them is to teach them how to foster an appreciation for math.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think math tends to be one of those subjects that you really deem yourself as either good or bad, right? And as you progress throughout, your academic career, at one point you sort of adopt a label or you give yourself a label of saying, I'm either a math student or not a math student.
Well,
right?
So schools in Australia, I don't know if they do this here, schools in Australia stream you in Form 3. It's like you either go into algebra and fractions or you go into, mathematics as such. And so I was streamed off into the algebra section, which is quite complicated all in itself. But, and I was deemed not that good at math.
As many of us are considered not that good at math. And actually Canada and Australia have like really, really similar education systems. We do our testing differently, our streams slightly differently. And here in Canada and in North America, we also do stream in the later years. In Australia, we do it a little bit in the more earlier years. And to be honest, like if you just don't think you're good at math or you don't feel comfortable doing the subject, it's that class that really makes you not want to wake up to go to school. It really does.
Looking at the big picture, there's a huge age difference between you and I. When I went to school, there is. When I went to school, if you needed a tutor, you would never tell your friends or anybody. It would be a hidden thing because everybody would call you stupid. Today, people recognize that very bright people have maybe an obstacle in learning something. It's not a shameful thing.
No, absolutely not. I think, actually studies have suggested here in Ontario that if you can afford a tutor, that 50% of parents said they would have a tutor for their child. So definitely there's a different shift in perspective in getting a tutor. And I think part of it is one that we're a lot more competitive now. To get into a top university, you really, really, really need to really excel at school. And because of that, parents and students alike really understand that I need that extra support. It's almost like those who want to go play some sort of professional sports gets a private coach. And that's sort of the cool thing to do. Now, getting a tutor is also sort of falling in that element as well.
Okay, what I like that you do is you go in and you do a full sort of consultation and assessment of children's strengths and weaknesses, and that part's free of charge.
Absolutely.
Why do you do that?
I think, first of all, it gives us a really strong idea of if we're the right fit to work with the student, right? I think integrity in education is really, really missing and lacking. So for us to actually have an understanding of their strengths, their weaknesses, their skill sets, what makes them tick, who they are as an individual, allows us then to even start the sessions off with the really, really good head start. And the reason why we can do that is because we spend the time of getting to know them. And from that, and why we do that as well, is a lot of times people will call us and say, look, this is the first time I'm seeing algebra and my child doesn't really understand at all. We have to first diagnose why they don't understand it. They may have not picked up, multiplication in grade 3. So from there, what we have to do is diagnose that, create an individualized plan for that and customize it for that student so we can overcome that skill gap from the first session.
You also are a big believer in self-esteem, and you say that poor academic results are usually the symptom of something much different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Much more.
It's interesting. Most times when a parent or student calls us, it's because they feel that they're not doing well in a specific subject. But the truth is that they've adopted a belief that they just can't do well in it. And that really hinders your self-esteem and your self-growth. So our objective is not just to raise your grades, it's truly to raise your self-esteem and self-confidence. And what that allows you to do, if you can start to apply that to the academics, you can start to transcend that in everything and anything that you put your mind to. So what we really want to do is make a child feel limitless, because essentially if they take that same thought process and as they progress beyond their academic career, they can really, really achieve anything.
So is mentorship something you also offer?
That is, I think, what we do. All our tutors are called tutor mentors for a reason.
Okay.
Because what we really want to do, and why people don't really do well in school, I think the first and foremost is that, they just don't like the subject. It's not engaging. They don't feel like they can do well at it. Once you start to excel at something, it almost becomes addictive. And success is probably the biggest addiction that exists in all of us. So what we really want to do is build a safe environment for a child to learn, so they can start to feel successful in the progress in the specific subject that we're really teaching them.
Do you feel that the education system is failing our children, or do you feel that maybe teachers, because I have one in the family, are simply saddled with so much more than just math and English now? There's a whole expectation that they're going to take over things that parents used to do.
Yeah, I think it's a combination of both. The first question may get me a little in trouble, but yeah, I really do believe our education system needs not necessarily some adjustments. I think it needs an overhaul. The first thing that we have to look at is are we teaching the right subjects? And if we aren't teaching the right subjects, or if we are we teaching them in a way that actually engages the learner? I think the biggest issue that we have to look at is that school is not cool. It's never been cool. It wasn't probably in your day. It was not in my day, and it's not in today's generation. And if school's not cool, that means learning's not cool. But how many times when you're an adult, you're saying, I wish I paid more attention in whatever class it is. Mm-hmm. So the first thing we have to do is learn. We have to learn how this generation actually learns, and then apply new techniques, new pedagogy towards learning, because what that will really do is engage the learner, and from there, allow them to really, really enjoy the process of learning.
Okay. How affordable is this? Because you say you want to make it affordable to everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. It depends on the specific location. Our prices do vary, and I think tutoring prices do vary depending on where you are. But our mission is to give every child a chance to succeed, regardless of any circumstances, and one of those circumstances being affordability. Mm-hmm. So if during our consultation and our assessment and our interactive learning review with the student, if we find out that that affordability becomes an issue, that's not a reason why we would not work with them. We'll do if we have to cut our cost or offer it at a free price, it's that's our goal, that's our objective, and I feel like in addition that's our duty.
But sometimes it's not just the children. Do you involve the whole family?
I think it's important to involve everybody that's going to be part of the student's success in academia and beyond. It's a team environment between the teacher, between us, between the parent, and any other major influencers in that child's life. Yeah.
Do the teachers welcome you?
Sometimes.
He smiled enigmatically.
What I think one of the things is that teachers don't want to feel like we're replacing them, and we're definitely not. I think it's a collaborative effort. I think what we get to do with a child, if we collectively can help them, we actually take a lot of pressure off the teacher. Mm-hmm. Those subjects or those, a teacher has a really, really challenging job. I mean, it's really understated. If you have to teach, 20 or 30 students, and they're all supposed to excel to a certain level, it's an impossible task. You've assigned somebody with an impossible task. So what we can do is help and come in and supplement that. So we, the way I sort of look at it is that we're very, very complementary to helping out teachers.
How do people find you?
We're everywhere, sort of across Canada. The easiest way to find us is definitely online, just TutorBright.com, and just fill out a contact form, and we have a very, very quick turnaround time in getting a hold of every family that puts that in.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is What She Said on The Jewel. And when we come back, Eric Alper is going to talk about musicians who overcame disabilities. Stay right here with us.
She might just change.